Expand your mind and enrich your world. It's time for another outstanding podcast from ICRT.
Migrant domestic workers in Taiwan are in a pretty vulnerable position. They work in the homes of Taiwanese families, providing care for the elderly, so their workplace is the home. There's no human resources department, no co-workers to go to for help. If a problem does arise, quite often, they need to sort it out between themselves and their employer. Highlighting these challenges, a couple of weeks ago, video footage surfaced of an Indonesian caregiver receiving abuse from her elderly employer. It dominated the headlines for a day or two and also raised some really uncomfortable questions about Taiwan's system of elderly home care. Well, today on the show, we're speaking to the Taiwan Association of Family Caregivers, an advocacy group calling for more government oversight of this system. I spoke with the group's president, Junfun Chun, to hear what they think it will take to make these homes a safer place for these domestic caregivers to live and work. Junfun, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
So like I said in the introduction, you are responding to this video that was posted by this Indonesian caregiver, and you're saying that this incident highlights some of the issues faced by a lot of these caregivers in Taiwan. So kind of, this is a widespread issue, and this is just a very visible example of this widespread issue. So could you tell us about what you see there? What is this widespread issue?
I think since 1992, Taiwan's government allowed Taiwan people to hire foreign care workers, or you could say migrant care workers, in a home. The problems increased a little bit in number. So I would say, from the perspective of employers' perspective, they would say they are just management, they are foreign care workers. However, sometimes become it's exploitative for foreign care workers. So I think we need require or advocate for Taiwan's government or non-profit to do more and do some supervisor for the employers and the migrant care workers.
And so when we're talking about these issues, these caregivers are oftentimes living at home with these Taiwanese families. The doors are closed. We don't really know what's going on in these houses a lot of the time. And so one of the reasons why this video is really so significant is this is one of the first peeks into that world that we don't usually get to see. So for those of us who maybe haven't thought about this issue much before, what kind of abuse are you worried is going on in these homes?
Yeah, because Taiwan already have 200,000 family caregivers, but 90% are living in employers' home. So, if according to our regulation, most of them are, although they are officially hired for only personal care work for disabled people. However, most of them are required to handle all domestic and care items, and since their service population ranges from a single disabled elderly person to the entire household and all of its members, over including babies and small children. So their workload is extensive by comparison with Taiwanese home care workers. And just as you say, they live in a home, but most of the Taiwanese they think home is not a workplace. So the government shouldn't do so much regulation in a home. So there's very few regulation or protect for our migrant caregivers.
Right, and okay, so obviously being overworked, that's a very big concern. In this case, the case with the Indonesian worker, there was actual physical violence involved. How big of a concern is that for you? Do you think that that's a widespread problem, or do you think that this is just a really bad example?
I think it must have many cases under the table, according to my understanding.
And what makes you think that?
Because I do a lot of interview. So sometimes because the employers, maybe the employers or the disabled people, they have a disease of Alzheimer's. So they didn't know what they do for the migrant care workers, or the employee just hope migrant worker could do more and more. So let's have a very serious pressure between both of them.
Yeah. Right, and this kind of goes back to a point that you were making a second ago about how a lot of times these families need to understand the pressure that these workers are under. If we go back to this case with the Indonesian worker, a lot of media reports were pointing to the fact that she did not speak very good Chinese, and so some of the frustration there was that her employer was just frustrated that she couldn't communicate with the worker. So how much of this problem would you say is often a communication issue, that the workers and the employers just have a hard time understanding one another?
So you got a very key point. You know, in Taiwan, we have the dual home care system. One is provided by Taiwanese home care worker. Their communication ability is no problem. And the other system is provided by migrant care workers. So our organization and our association always persuade the government should give a lot of support for the employers of family migrant care workers, because they need some people to help them. But right now they just get a very few support from the human resources company or brokers. And the broker always require the migrant worker should be patient, should be obey the order from the employers. So as we always persuade the government should combine our home care organization. Those organizations are provided by non-profit organizations, so they could help to do some communications. And if they have any issues or problems, the home care supervisor could deal with that.
Right. So you've already kind of listed some of the things that you would like to see, but I want to get into this in a little bit more depth. So your group is really calling for some kind of oversight system. You really want to see the government get involved in taking a look at these homes and making sure that nothing bad is going on inside them. So can you talk a little bit about the steps that you want to see the government take?
I just think the state should just like our home care workers, just like the Taiwanese citizens. The home care supervisor will into the family's home to watch, to see every procedure or every work item is fine or is good, and the care quality. So I think it would be help the migrant care workers and help the care receiver. That's the double win or two wins strategy.
So really, it's just a matter of mediating more than anything else. It sounds like, in your opinion, really the Taiwanese family and the caregiver, I mean, they're not really, they shouldn't be on different sides. You're saying that really they should be on the same side. It's just a matter of providing that support so that they can both understand each other a little bit better.
Yeah, because for a Taiwanese family, they sometimes always think, I just need a person, just staying with my elderly parents. That's enough. However, it's not enough. You need that person need a lot of the long-term care knowledge. Not if this person without any professional knowledge, the quality, the volume will be not enough to do this care responsibility. I think that should be understanding, and all of our family members should understand this. But as I say, they just want somebody to be just watch, or to do any personal care, just like meal preparation, or just help the elderly people go to the bathroom. But it's not enough. If you don't give the elderly people enough water, they maybe have a very serious disease. Some kind of knowledge should be used or combined this system. Then everything will be improved.
So are you saying that if these caregivers had more skills and more knowledge, then the frustration on the family side would be less, and so that we would see less abuse like this?
I think that's part of the reason. And another biggest problem is she is so tired, and she cannot go outside to take a break, to hang on with their friends. So many a lot of Taiwanese just afraid if I let my migrant care workers to hang on with their friends, his or her behavior will be bad. I think that's a totally wrong concept. If you give your employee enough rest, the care quality will become better.
Now, it's interesting. I've spoken to activists on this issue before. Peter Van Hong, he is with the Vietnamese migrant workers and brides out in Taoyuan, and he says that he just thinks that there's no possible way to know what is going on in these homes. There is so much potential for abuse there that really the whole system should be taken apart, and this care should not be provided in the home. It should be provided in some kind of elderly care institution. So he has, I think, a somewhat more pessimistic view than you. He doesn't think that it would be enough to just mediate with these families, that, you know, there's just so many opportunities for exploitation as long as this care is given in the home. What do you say to those kinds of concerns?
I will say past the 23 years, because since 1992, we already hired so many migrant care workers. So you cannot pretend so many people just cancel their work opportunity. I think it's not will happen tomorrow. So, and that's a social learning effect. Everybody just learn each other. So you could abuse our management, your foreign care workers. I think, you could do that, okay, and the government didn't say anything, so I just learn from you. So I think that's a social learning effect. And in Taiwan's or Chinese culture, kind of difficulty to send your elderly parents to a nursing home. Because the generally everybody just care about others' opinion. The elderly parents just want to stay at home, and however, the adult children need to do the work. So hire a migrant care worker just seems a balanced strategy. So you just could step by step to monitor or to persuade this situation could become better. You cannot just pretend this phenomena never happened, or just hope this phenomena just disappear tomorrow.
So when we talk about ways of fixing this problem, I think I've spoken to other advocates that, you know, what they would really be hoping for is more of monitoring, preventing families from committing these abuses. They're looking for more of like kind of a supervision role, almost like a policing role for the government. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like that's not really what you're talking about. What you're talking about is more of a mediation role, that if the communication between the family and the caregivers is good enough, it sounds like you think that would actually solve the problem by itself.
Yeah, because just as I say, Taiwanese see the home as not a workplace. So, and the family privacy is both important and highly respected. If some organization just hope the government just like a place into some people's home, that's impossible, and the employers will reject. So, how to let the employers could receive support, not monitor? That's an important key.
So I was doing a little bit of reading about your organization, and I noted that it was created in 1996, and you say that one of the goals was to kind of raise awareness about some of the challenges faced by caregivers, and also to eliminate indifference. A lot of times maybe people aren't thinking too much about the needs, the desires, the challenges of these people, and there's so many of them in Taiwan. How do you feel like Taiwan has progressed since your organization was founded? Is this something that we're seeing progress on?
Yeah, our movement of the advocate have a kind of the bigger progress because the government already see the importance of the family caregivers, and they just consider provide more support for us. For example, they just help our organization, help our association to build a telephone line. Our telephone number is 0800 507272. That means 0800507272 means in Taiwanese we will say 有你真好真好 means the care receiver because the caregiver could get the good the better care. And the care receiver, if the caregiver get some support from social worker or nurse or physician, the caregiver will also feel good. So the telephone is help the family caregivers. If any people you hear this video program and you want to call us, we could introduce some kind of family respite program for you and provide the telephone consulting for you.
So providing some of those services that you're saying you're hoping to see the government step in and help out with as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, we have been speaking today to Zhenfan Chen. She is the president of the Taiwan Association of Family Caregivers. Zhenfan, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you.